What's up, everybody? Brett here, and I'm back today. Very happy to be bringing you some more Battle Brothers on the Warriors of the North DLC. Guys, that was one of the more stressful series of battles that I've had to do on the channel. I hope you understand that it's just for me, it's a lot of behind the scenes work to get something like a perfect Kraken fight. Ugh. It's done though. But now, I was kind of joking with my wife. I was telling her about, why I was spending so much time trying to get this done. And I mentioned to her that I still have 2 more left to do. So we've got the watermill. That's going to be a pretty tough fight. It's one where you just kind of got to get lucky and land some big hits. And then we also have, where is it? The Black Monolith. Something else that we're going to want to do. That's probably going to be the final boss for sure of the game. But for right now, I'm hoping to give you guys a full episode of us running around. We're going to do a few things that we haven't done before. We're going to visit Finsterwald and the taxidermist there and see what we can make out of our Kraken bits. So, I don't know exactly what armor I'm going to upgrade. I have a general idea, and we'll just have to see what armor I feel like needs the most upgrading. I love the aesthetic of the Kraken attachments. They're very cool looking. And I just went ahead and put like what I think is kind of our standard squad together. I'm pretty sure I have everyone's gear back to optimal. I didn't spend too much time going into it. You see I've got even some cool, different items on everyone to use. Of course, our inventory is a little light thanks to us losing so many dogs in the Kraken fight. We didn't lose all of them. We didn't lose Battle Brother. We didn't lose Warrior, which is nice. I didn't feel like I needed to use them in order to win. Once I realized that they weren't hyper-focusing anyone like they kind of were in the previous, the tentacles that is, in the previous attempts, I was very confident that I would be able to... Oh, he was hiding there. That sucks. That type of damage is pointless. Shooting an unhold one time, it doesn't do anything. So I'm kind of unhappy that I put Leisure Side in this position to do 0 damage, essentially. Yeah, now he's just going to get knocked around. It's alright. It's kind of aggravating that they're blocking for him, too. Don't really have any good targets, so we'll wait. This is kind of bad, so we'll wait. We'll probably be able to rotate here. And then Indomitable is going to be important to make sure we don't get stunned. Tossed around. We'll wait once again. Let's land this big hit. Perfect. Nearly got it dead. This is what we were waiting for. And we can spear wall. Let's do one of those maneuvers. And we'll still be able to reload from that position. But I think, man, I keep like half finishing thoughts. I'm kind of excited to be back. But what I was trying to say was that I didn't feel like I needed the dogs to win in the fight. The first few times you guys saw me attempt it, guys like John were getting really focused down. And the dogs basically acted as a distraction to help take some of the hits from the tentacles. And in the same way that I think the AI seems to prioritize low stat units, very similar to how the Necrosavants, I knew I should have Indomitable there, but in the same way that the AI prioritizes the Necrosavants, I also see that the tentacles were prioritizing the dogs. I think I said something weird there. I don't know. I blacked out. I think I'm having a stroke. I'm having a stroke, guys. Call someone. But I think you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. So what's next? So guys, I kind of want to go somewhat quickly through our next series of boss battles. They're things that we've done already on the channel. That's not to say that they're not interesting, because they certainly are. We're going to do them. We're going to do everything. But the general idea right now is that I would like to move on to what I consider to be sort of the next stage in this kind of YouTube series. So I've talked a lot before about doing a series where, yeah, that was beautiful. We're straight up decapitating unholds. A series where we go through the first maybe 20 or 30 or so turns of a particular company origin, and we just generally, have fun, try and survive, play on a harder difficulty, really talk about the mechanics and the design choices behind them. Like why, for instance, in the Deserter campaign, or not the Deserter campaign, I was thinking of the Beast Slayers campaign, why you start off with certain factions not liking you, your brothers start off injured. There's a lot of little nuances to these company origins that I don't even know yet because I've kind of been holding off myself on doing them until we could experience them together. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I think that'll make for a fun series that has some longevity, as long as you guys are interested in watching something like that. I think it'll be fun. So, okay. So I'm reloading and shooting for the most part because a lot of our ranged bros are in the swamp. So switching to their melee weapons won't be as effective as perhaps it normally would. Our chances to hit being much less likely. Alright, let's chop this thing. Normally our crossbow tactics are to shoot, switch out, hit. Next turn you can hit and reload. And there's kind of a nice little pattern to it. The swamp kind of messes that up. Happy to have my shields back on, by the way. That Kraken fight without shields, I think was the right call, but didn't make it any less stressful. And we'll shoot at this one to hope to hit that one. So just like in my personal life, guys, like right now, today, I just walked my kids to school. It's their first day of school, which is always kind of an exciting time. So I guess what that means for the channel is that I'm going to have a lot more time to upload more and different games. I've been kind of doing 1, sometimes 2 games a day, when what I've really been wanting to do is 2 or 3. Let's go ahead and get the bill hook out. That way we can hit him if he tries to run. I've already got some other games that I wanted to start doing. One of them I bought it yesterday. It's called Dicey Dungeons, is what I think it is, if I remember correctly. And I did the first level of it, and it's super fun. And I think it's a game that you guys would appreciate as well. If you like Slay the Spire or Guild of Dungeoneering, that's another one of my favorite kind of card. I guess you could call it like a card game, like an RPG card game, board game. Kind of has the same feel of all those different genres. But I was just starting to think, man, I'd love to do a Guild of Dungeoneering Let's Play, because it's pretty short. It's one of those games we could start it, and put it down whenever we felt like it. It doesn't have to become like this huge, 100-part series, especially if nobody's watching it. But it's something that would be fun for me to do, and it's relatively stress-free as far as games go. It could also make, for really good 30-minute long videos as opposed to some of the hour-long videos that I make, which some people may prefer. I don't know. I like to watch YouTube videos for an hour at a time, or listen to them. I go for walks. I want to listen to a long video, Gimli's up there doing the Lord's work, holding down this one unhold. And they whiffed I wouldn't be surprised if he came back because he's not damaged. Probably step back in here and make sure he doesn't leave the area. But yeah, I understand that some people only perhaps want to watch or listen to half-hour videos. Some people perhaps just only have time for that. So it'd be nice to have a little bit of variance on the channel. It's still a strategy game. It's still a fantasy game, which are of course my favorite types of games. I'm just going to come up here. I'm going to let that other unhold run back to me. So I think it fits nicely in kind of like my wheelhouse of games that I enjoy and like to play. And, you know, kind of help teach people about. Also, they're cheap. That's another good thing. For those of you out there kind of working on a budget, looking for games to either play in between stuff or at the office. I know a lot of people kind of sneak games at the office. Or just at work in general. Damn, I was really hoping that second hit wouldn't get Gimli. Let's switch back here and reload. But yeah, so basically I figured since Dicey Dungeons was new, it was something that people might be more interested in as opposed to Guild of Dungeoneerings, which is something that a lot of people have seen and played. I've got all the DLC for that, and I enjoyed. I basically have beaten it. I don't know if I have every trophy in the game or have unlocked everything, but I've unlocked enough to say that I definitely beat the base game and most of the DLC before I ever put it down. Let's leave a few people down here in case we can get that other unhold. Put some shots on them. We don't have a shot. Down this way. Step in. These things are really beating up my armor. If that would have hit Isaac, I would have been pretty aggravated. It's like, is he coming in? Is he not? I don't know. I definitely don't want to chase him into the swamp. At this point, I'd rather he just ran. It's going to be super aggravating meeting him up if he's not willing to run to me. And we don't have enough ranged firepower to really take him down. Yeah, let's end the round and see where it goes. Might just end the round until he runs to me. Yeah, it's over. No levels. Just a bunch of good crafting ingredients that we can either sell or not. And let's head back to Strockburg. So during camp, a few of the men run into your tent, each of them wide-eyed and sweating. They absentmindedly shrink from each other's touch or violently push back. You ask what is the problem, and they explain as a mob like birds crowing at someone hiding a piece of bread from them. It takes some parsing, but it sounds as though the artifact superstitiously called the Petrified Scream has been giving the men nightmares. You tell the men the items in the inventory and is of no harm. The men quietly leave. You return to your map only to see something black hidden under the paper. Lifting the page, you find the Alp's death mask there, maw open in grisly black permanence. You stare at the mask. You can hear something within it, something clattering its teeth like thrown dice, and the size of it seems to be vibrating, giving its flesh a bubbling look. With a shrug and laugh, you throw it on top of the map as a paperweight. Damn thing is going to get lost if the men keep moving it around like this. How do you keep misplacing that? Yeah, creepy. So let's get back to Strasbourg. Strasbourg has, an armor and a weaponsmith. I'm still interested in getting as much unique arms and armor as I can, especially before we head to the Black Monolith battle. That's where we're just going to pull together all of our best resources onto what we consider to be our strongest brothers. And then we're going to start praying, I guess. I'm not opposed to taking some missions right now, some quests. Ragnar Four Fingers Spine. It's a spetum, so it's not a pole hammer. It's especially well crafted, and its 3 tips have been honed into perfectly pointy spikes. It's not a bad thing, but it's not really what we're looking for. What are the prices like here? Decent? Okay. We'll sell a few things. So we have all these shimmering ashes that nobody wants. Let's sell the junk, all the different orc weaponry and garbage. We'll hold on to some of our crafting materials just because we're going to a taxidermist. I don't think we need this. I don't think anyone in our back line that would use a weapon like that is without a powerful polearm, bill hook. Yeah, I think we're good on everyone. Yeah, no reason to buy that whatsoever. So we're not going to. And let's see what this this contract is after we kind of check out what's here. Buy some tools. We'll happily buy some of this meat and food. I wanted one more quiver of arrows. I think we need one on John D here, just to have it in case we'd rather either use the throwing net or the quiver, if we're going to end up using him primarily as an archer. He's currently kind of switching gear. We want to take that off of him. That's not what we want. I think Ozzy wants this. Or is it Kata? I think I might have accidentally sold some gear. No, that's correct. At some point. Yeah, that's much better. I think that's more correct. I know I had 2 of these, the scale armors with the bone plate attachments, but I think I did accidentally sell one. We could buy a replacement dog. I'm not sure why I bought that one when there's a kennel in here. Yeah, we should have gone straight to the kennel. Let's get the armor for him. And a few extra war dogs. I think everyone's pretty much geared up. We don't need the orc trophy. It's just something I was putting to get it out of the way. So that's Long Fang. Yeah, let's give John Bragg, I don't know. This has to be in the inventory to be equipped, so let's go ahead and do that. And you get Hound the war dog, not very original. And we have space for at least one more, so let's get one more. Where was it? So Rainer gets a dog. And we'll keep all of our specialty necklaces kind of in our back pocket for when we need them for those particular fights. And let's see what the contract is. Greenskins. I do love fighting greenskins, and they're going to pay me quite a bit. Let's accept the offer. It's around Finsterwald. Let me kind of re-situate myself with the map. So Finsterwald is right there. I was hoping for a second that it was not like over here and I was just misremembering. The fact that the kind of like the noble house lines have been drawn in such a weird fashion. Like we've got Grolfest here, like they're split up. This group has 3 here and then like 4 here. It's been very awkward for us. But we were going to Finsterwald anyway, so this is actually perfect. And I think we're going to smash these dudes real quick just to make a little bit of gold. The gold that we make from this fight will help us to pay for some of the taxidermy we're looking to do in just a minute. Happy to have all of our, best archers in here. I say that and then we miss two easy shots on an unarmored target. And then we miss 2 more. Guys, you're making me look like an idiot. The annoying part of this battle is what's going to happen when we kill the berserkers. And we can't catch the ambushers. I don't think the berserkers will make it in this turn, so we don't really have to worry about that. Okay, one of them made it in. It's not the end of the world, and we'll step in here and go for a round swing. As much as I want to start putting firepower on the goblins, I think the berserkers are so much more dangerous that it's very important that we prioritize them instead. So let's step here and use adrenaline, and we'll perhaps be able to tie them both down. That was a huge hit. We hit him in the head. Let's use Indomitable just to make sure we don't get wrecked by this thing's weapon. Like one-shotted, basically. And I'm happy to push him out like this. I know we had a bit of a nice surround. But this weapon attacks in a 360. So, surrounding him is not really the best course of option, or best course of action. Alright, let's see what we can do. Step in. Perfect. That's all we wanted to do. And we're going to step in here so we can potentially tie them both down. I think we'll wait. We have some range stuff we can do. No reason to even give those things a chance to hit us. We step here, we have a shot. We can often one-shot the ambushers with the impaler. So we've got a multiple surround, but they can always use footwork to get out of this. So I know I mentioned this stuff in previous videos, but I think it's worth mentioning again just because it's had such a detrimental impact on my recent days. Basically, guys, long story short, had a thunderstorm. It fried a bunch of my electronics, and I'm in the process of fixing them, replacing them, and getting my internet worked on. So it's kind of set me back on using my new rig. I've got it all the way set up. I've got, Windows 10 installed. I did some kind of case optimization last night. I was having an issue with a hard drive that I fixed. It wasn't really a big deal. Just took a little bit of tutorial type stuff online to figure it out. I had come to the realization, it's kind of silly now when I think about it, but the monitor that I bought, which was a pretty expensive monitor, it didn't come with like any kind of built-in speakers, which I did not realize. I'm kind of an older-fashioned dude when it comes to technology, so it doesn't surprise me that I overlooked that. You know, I just assume if I'm buying a monitor, I'm buying a TV, something like that, it has built-in speakers, especially when it's expensive. But the one that I bought was a gaming monitor, and apparently those generally don't come with speakers. Not something that I realized. So I may end up needing to buy speakers. My internet's been messed up. I've had guys come out to fix it. So a caravan, obviously not one in good shape. The carts have been tipped over and their drivers slain. You chase off the buzzards to pick through the evidence. If the carnage didn't speak of greenskins, then the gnarled footprints certainly do. You're on the right path. We must be close. So I ended up... Oh, wow, look, they destroyed everything. Jesus. They've got unholed greenskins, and they're rebuilding. If we had any wood in our inventory, we could sell it to them at exorbitant costs. This is probably not a good place to sell anything, and it's not. But it's still the place we're going to have to go to use the taxidermist. But basically what I was saying, guys, is that I've had so many problems that I'm postponing my certain games that are going to run really well on my new computer. You know, don't run so hot on my laptop that I'm currently using. Despite my laptop being amazing, it's just certain games just can't handle it. It's just too much. So yeah, certain postponements. But now that I have so much free time without me having to watch the kids 24/7, I will be able to make those types of videos and get those things rolling. So I don't remember off the top of my head. We have the Kraken ingredients. We have the severed tentacles and the horn plates. We have 2 horn plates. I think that should be enough to make the shield. Do we need perhaps some scrats? Some scrat stuff? Let me check it out real quick. Let me go to my handy dandy phone and like look it up. So let's see, Kraken. You'd think I would remember all this, but you very rarely get Kraken ingredients. So like I don't remember exactly what the recipes are for their stuff. I know you need the tentacles to make a tonic that I think it resets perks. Okay. Well, I wasn't able to find the specific one. So to make the horn plate, I just need Naxurher horns, which I would have thought I had at least 2 of those. But I don't. I only have 1. So I need 2 Naxurher horns plus the horn plate, and then I can make the horn plate attachment, which reduces any melee damage to the body by 10%, which on a really heavy piece of armor is huge because you're getting like a large extension, right? Over the course of trying to take down 300 durability, an enemy is going to have to hit you 10 times plus, depending on the weapons, right? If it's a chosen that's hitting you, it doesn't take so many. But if like someone with a sword is hitting someone like Isaac here, you know, with 320 durability, it'll take so many hits that you reduce 10% damage on 10 hits, and all of a sudden you might have added 100 durability to a particular set of armor. So it's really good. Of course, it's top tier in terms of stuff. But also we can make a Kraken shield. Now with that, we need the resin from the scrat. And that's probably the best shield in the game. It's a 50 durability shield with 24/24 in terms of its melee and range defense. So for like reference, it's got more durability than this by 2. It's got 3 more melee defense. But I will say this is an incredibly powerful shield. This has an additional 10 range defense. But then the Kraken shield is 1 lighter. So they're somewhat even. This might be slightly better, actually, the rolls on this, since they more heavily randomize the stat rolls on unique items. Some of these unique items just have the potential to be amazing. And I think that's kind of what we're looking at here on Lancel. I think a more apt comparison would probably be the Lindworm shield, which is just a tiny bit lighter, a good bit more durable at 64. Not as good melee defense, which I think is probably the most important stat on a shield, depending on your particular brother and how their stats are distributed, right? But for the most part, a shield bearer wants to protect from being hit in the face with an axe or something. So melee defense would be, in my mind, the most important ingredient. So, and then let's see, the last thing, which I'm pretty sure is the last thing you can do with the tentacle, as I look it up myself, is the Potion of Oblivion. So, unfortunately, we have a glutton in our party who ate our last damn apple. So we don't have any more poisoned apples. We have Unhold Hearts. We have Nagzurher Brains. We have the mask, the Petrified Scream. We have the tentacle now, but we need the... We have Poison Gland too. Okay, that's another one. But we need the... I think it's the heart. The heart of a Scrat is something that we don't have. The heart of the forest, I think is what they call it. That and the poison apple are the only two things that we don't have to create the Potion of Oblivion, which also costs like 5,000 gold to make. And then with that, you can reset perk points. So, I don't know. I mean, that's cool and everything to be able to do that, but I don't know. I can't. It's hard for me to think of a scenario where, for me, that would be such a huge priority to do. So we can't make the things we want, but we'll be on the lookout for Nagzurhers and for Scrat. So the greenskins are close. Let's kind of just go exploring out here and see what we see. There we go. That's some footprints. Kind of hoping it would be a bigger group. It's just a crap ton of wolf riders? Okay. Well, get over here. Wolf riders in the swamp, they're not going to have the best time. Oh, sweet. It gave us like a little peninsula to fight on, too. We've been dog sitting for this Samoyed. It's like a big white sled dog. And he howls. I'm surprised you guys can't hear him. Whenever he gets lonely or you can hear me inside the house, he just starts howling. Which is very sad. But we took him on a walk this morning to walk the kids to school. I'm fortunate enough, I live in San Antonio, which is a really big city. But I live in a neighborhood very close to my kids' school. So I can actually walk my kids to school every day, which is... You know, if you're a parent, you know that that's kind of like the coolest thing ever. Get to be a big part of their day. Instead of just, having to put them on a bus. Nothing wrong with putting your kids on a bus at all. I rode the bus to school. And my schools were in the swamps. I grew up in Louisiana. So... And my next door neighbor was actually a bus driver. So I would wait outside at like 6:30 in the morning to get on my school bus because I was literally the first stop. I would just hang out in front of my neighbor's house basically. Get on the school bus. We would drive and pick up every other kid. It takes like an hour plus to do that. And then drive to the school, which is like, way deep in the swamps. I'm not going to bother naming them, stuff like that. And then, so basically I'd be on the bus for like, it would still be pitch black outside when I would get on the bus in the morning. As a kid. And that just wasn't fun. For years I could have had like an extra hour of sleep. Or eaten breakfast or something, I don't know. It's fun hanging out on the bus though when you're a kid. You get to see your neighborhoods and all the goings-ons of the mornings. But I will say, she liked to listen to country music. My bus driver, just a little too much. And as much as I appreciate all genres of music, when they're just well done, like honky-tonk type country music, all about dirt roads and tractors, stuff like that, I don't like that. And she had the same CD. She would play the same, like, 13 songs every morning. It's enough to drive you insane. I think everyone probably has a story of like the mean or crazy bus driver from when they were a kid. I mean, I had a I had a bus driver when I was a kid. I think somebody said "dang" or something like that, and he lost his mind as if we had said the F word. And when I was a little kid, we didn't curse like at all. And I don't know if I just grew up in a weird area, in like rural Louisiana where everyone's kind of religious and uh, just not focused on other types of aspects of pop culture and things like that. It was just so much different where I grew up, so much quieter, I guess, that the idea of a kid saying "dang" in like third grade was enough to like set this dude off. I look back on that now as an adult, and I can tell that that gentleman was probably slightly unstable and perhaps shouldn't have been around children. But as a kid, I was just like, oh man, I really shouldn't say these words. You can get in big trouble that way, apparently. But dude definitely overreacted. Had another time too that I got in trouble, probably justly so. I had a buddy who was a really good artist, and this is like fifth grade, sixth grade, something like that. And he would draw Pokemon cards, and that was the time when Pokemon was like real. And by I shouldn't say it like that. At the time when Pokemon was a lot less lame, it was still a new thing. We were on like the first, second season of the show. Um, they're still in like the Indigo League, and everything's kind of fresh still. We've all got our first edition cards and decks that we play with on the bus, and we started drawing our own Pokemon cards with the help of one of my artistically talented friends. And we would sit and we would come up with new Pokemon. It was really fun, and I kept like a binder that had like every time we would draw one, we would put it in the binder, and I would keep it, right? Well, some of that turned mean at a certain point, and we started making Pokemon cards that made fun of other kids. And I'm glad someone called us, actually, because my conscience, even today as an adult, tells me how wrong that was and hurtful. And the bus driver saw us doing it, and weirdly, this is almost like at the time also, this is not quite Harry Potter times, but it's kind of the same attitude. Some of you might be old enough to remember how when Harry Potter first hit the scene, there were like crazy religious people felt like it was devil worship or, cultist stuff. Well, of course, it was just harmless kid fun, as we all know today. But the bus driver saw the Pokemon cards and he thought we were doing some sort of weird, I don't know, who knows what this guy thought. And he like took them from us and gave it to the principal. Well, it turns out, of course, we were making cards that, made fun of other kids, and we ended up getting in a lot of trouble. I still remember some of them today, and probably have some of them somewhere at my parents' house. But what a ridiculous thing to get called into the principal's office over. Basically gave us the whole, like, speech. If they had found these or seen these, we could have really hurt their feelings, which is absolutely true. We thought it was harmless fun between friends, but very easily could have hurt a lot of people's feelings. I will say though, if you're in 5th, 6th grade and you're still eating your boogers, like, you might be asking for getting teased. Doesn't mean you deserve it, but man, your parents got to talk to you. If I ever see my kids eating boogers, I'm not gonna let that slide. You got to confront that. All right, this is as good a place as any. 17 is pretty much standard in terms of the pricing that we should expect when I go by like my bare hat system of economics. We'll get rid of some of these giant skulls, some of these hearts. We don't need nearly as many shimmering ashes as we have. And just like that, we're up over 40k. So like I said, guys, I just want to kind of explore. Ooh, we got a new event. You come across a handful of soldiers from House Harkin. They tilt their caps at you. Evening, mercenaries. Not sure if they're about to attack, you make a subtle nod toward John. He puts his weapon within hand's reach and heads back and nods back. You return your attention to the soldiers, giving them a friendly wave. Their lieutenant steps forward, grinning. Oi, mercenary, we've little use for you in this world now. Slowly you lower your hand, hovering above the pommel of your sword. You ask what the man means by that. He laughs. You haven't heard? War's over. The Greenskins were routed from Growfest just a few days ago. Scouts report seeing them bastards running for the hills every which way, fighting amongst themselves, the orcs killing the goblins, goblins killing the orcs. Just a full-on rout. So yeah, noble houses need not pay your sorry arse nothing. I was going to say, my son's Spanish teacher, he's in like a special immersion class where he's going to be like taught Spanish for the whole like next 7-8 years of his life. Her name is basically Arse. Spanish for arse. I think it's like arse is how you pronounce it, but it's definitely arse, which kind of made me my inner nerd giggled whenever I saw that. For nothing now, because us real soldiers got it under control, I'm pretty sure I killed the warlord. Now why don't you and your pathetic lot clear out of the way? Us fighters got places to be, understand? Man, last time we let him pass, what happens if we just straight murk this dude? John, handle this guy. Yeah. The soldier's lieutenant glares at you. Do as I said, sellsword, or there will be trouble. Ignoring him, you give another nod to John. He gets up, the blade of his weapon loudly scraping off the dirt. The soldiers turn to the mercenary. He hefts the weapon into both hands and stares back. As the lieutenant starts to talk, John bluntly interrupts. I love this. I love reading this. Shush, little man. I see softness in your skin, not a scar to be seen. Eyes as fresh as the day they were born, hands as smooth as untouched candles. If you was of the fighting sort, you'd be out there in these battles you speak of, not out here pissing in the wind. I'll give you 2 options because I'm feeling nice. First option. Are you listening? First option is this. Go where you're going and don't say another goddamn word. He pauses and hold up 2 fingers. Option 2 is a mystery. Speak and you shall learn of it. The lieutenant's eyes have gotten a little wider and his mouth infinitely quieter. He glances at you, but all you can do is shrug. After another moment, the soldiers hurry away with determined silence. The Jarls of Jorvik need their commander. I love reading that. It's super fun. It's like, go ahead, try something. All of y'all are going to lose your life. So, my idea is basically just to go and visit the towns nearby. Nah. I don't really want to do this. This is us fighting Hexen. I'll need some time to think about this. We might come back and do that at the end of the episode today. Basically what I want to go is to the cities that have lots of armories and weaponsmiths and see if we can't get some good loot from them with our 40k. Maybe pick up some quests to do some fights we were looking to do anyway. We haven't been to a bar in a while. Just keep on traveling. I haven't had much luck with the Fletchers either, trying to find unique bows. Unique bows seem to be one of the rare types of weapons in the game to get. I guess it seems that way to me because I need so many of them. But I hardly ever get them in my playthroughs. In our last playthrough, I think I had 2 unique crossbows, which was a huge kind of boon just because the crossbows are so powerful. So nothing here. Nothing here as well. That sucks. Alright, keep moving. Brunwald is another good place to be. Okay, so Hans wants to join in a local jousting tournament. I pretty much always let this happen. Guys, I've read this so many times before, it's a ton of reading. We're going to gamble 500 crowns to see if he wins. Feel free to pause and read this. I'll do it somewhat slowly so you can read if you'd like. The bet is on. Let's wish him good luck, also for our wallet. We win! We win 500 crowns, and Sir Hans gets eager. So while still celebrating, the nobleman you made a wager with comes over and places a purse into your hand. You wish to say a few words, but before you can, he angrily turns and walks off. So Sir Quick Hans the Quick's lance shatters on his opponent's chest, a proverbial explosion of sawdust and splinters through which rides a horse with no rider. the jouster having been driven back over his cantle and clear of the saddle altogether. Coming face down on the battleground with nary a move or breath, a roar bursts from the crowd, an uncorked tempest which you are quick to join, drowning your ears in a blistering cacophony, swept up in a time and place you will never forget. Awesome. Always makes me think of A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger. I love that movie. It's so funny. Alright, let's smash some young real quick. We pay out so much a day that we can't just walk by easy gold. 1,000 crowns a day. Orc weapons are pretty easy to get and pretty valuable. And I know we can't get wear orc armor, but I kind of wish we could at least still get it for loot, maybe. Like, make it really bad, sure, in the same way that kind of the barbarians stuff is really bad. For us to wear, anyway. But it'd be nice still to have the drops, so that we could profit from killing them a bit more. That's one of those sentences that sounds extra bad when you take it out of context. Alright, let's see him charge in now. They're already running and we've barely done anything. Just go for him. Alright, now we can target the one we really want to target. See if we can kill him before he runs. Nice. That's a decapitation. Happy to see it worked. These giant maces might be the most satisfying weapon in the game to me. The way they just kind of matter-of-factly smash someone into the ground. Super satisfying. We will run him down. No reason to do anything but get him like that. We level up Sir Lancel, that's cool. That was a decent little haul for a super low risk fight. Lancel's been needing melee skill this whole time. A little bit of extra fatigue won't hurt him either. See if we can get him up to 30 melee defense. But I'm going to be super proud of him when he finally makes it to 80 in melee skill. Don't even know if this playthrough is going to go long enough for him to level 2 more times, but hopefully it will. Let's get in there. What do you got for me? Coat of plates. I mean, I still debate buying this with myself because the coat of plates is still a step up for Behemoth. The prices here for selling are quite nice. Let's get rid of some of those. Check out the weaponsmith. Nothing. Okay. We'll get some drinks. And let's see what this quest is. Is it more greenskins? Some goblins north of... Nah, we're not doing that. They basically want us to go all the way back to where we just came from, then come all the way back over here. All the way to Fensterwald. Not doing that. I would love to fight some big raiding groups, like with, some hedge knights, some leaders. I would love to fight some barbarians again. I feel like I didn't get to fight them quite enough this playthrough. Even though I guess you could say we fought them plenty. We've killed multiple barbarian kings. We've taken out huge groups of armored unholds and beastmasters. Nah, they want us to go back to Dornan. So Grolfest is another one of the best cities that we can visit. It even has a training hall if we're interested in that sort of thing. So right now we're barely like floating above 40k because we're taking those little fights. Straight to the armory. Nothing. Just another opportunity to buy a coat of plates. And no good weapons at all. Alright. Well, we tried. Gerstal has a weaponsmith. I know we have more stuff up here. I'm kind of eager just to keep traveling today. Put ourselves in a new position. And, maybe even have a position that way I can do a few small things off camera. Just to get our gold up. And then we'll make a kind of a beeline down here for the watermill. And we'll get ready for that next big boss fight. And the sooner we get that done, the sooner we can potentially put ourselves in a position to do some, to Ratterstadt. I think that's kind of where I want to go. In a position to move on to another series, which I think will be fun. Yeah, let's go to Ratterstadt. We'll stop by Jimenstein first. There's actually an armorer in Donnerstadt as well. We missed a fight. Oh well. I don't think I would have gotten involved in it anyway. Most of those times, the enemies just die before you can even intervene. Check the marketplace. Everything is incredibly expensive here. So let's just get some more drinks and head up to Donnerstadt. And this will be like the last place we just straight up check. Ratterstedt has a weaponsmith, which is cool. We're still rocking some pretty basic weapons, like a fighting spear and a noble sword. We've got a fighting axe on one of our brothers. So there is still room for improvement in our weaponry. And all of these places having ambush trade routes is rough. Let's go down. Like I said, I would love to come out here and fight some more barbarians as part of this playthrough. There's 17 of them. You know what? I haven't slaughtered any thralls in a while. Let's do that before they... No, don't... Okay. I don't want to have to fight them and split, loot and experience with the roving band. This is one of those fights where we get to feel really powerful. But I mean, also we don't get good loot, but whatever. Almost more scared of the dogs. Let's get in there and start getting mean. Do a line shot, kill both the dogs. Sad to say. We straight up look like Norse gods of old. Like, I feel like at this point, barbarians would have heard tale of us and our deeds. And we would have to be the most infamous band with barbarian leaders. Like, our entire group is definitely not made of barbarians. But, like, our start, we'd have to be legends among the tribes. One of my favorite factions to play as in Total War Warhammer is the Norskins. I start campaigns as Wulfric all the time. Just to have that feeling of being like, you know, a Norskin war leader. Right at the beginning of the campaign where I'm gathering the tribes together and defeating other warlords. Because they have a really cool mechanic as part of their campaign where every time you defeat a faction leader that's a fellow Norskin, they join you. They just instantly confederate, which is really cool, and they kind of set this up on purpose because some of them have really high tier units that you can't get for a long time. So if you're kind of careful, you can end up with like a really early game mammoth, which is super sweet, or like a frost drake. So you just roll around feeling like a badass with, you know, Wulfric the Wanderer as your lord. And then eventually, you know, you kind of meet Throg and you recruit him. He's a giant troll king. We'll just pass here. And get the kill right at the beginning. We'll run him down. There's also the really cool mechanic as part of the Norskins that you go on these very unique hunts. They're like kind of like epic quests to take down really unique monsters in the world, unique armies, and they're devastating. But they can give you some really cool rewards. Unique items, very powerful stuff that you can give to your heroes. All right, we made it. Gonna buy some tools here. Ammo's not bad. Let's just get one. Sell off the junk. Look and see what the quest is. The prices to sell here are great. Bear Hat's reading 20, which is pretty high. So we're gonna sell this insignia we're holding on to. This is the sword blade. I don't think we ever read the description for it. The glimmering blade of a broken sword you receive from the Kraken. In all your years of fighting, you never encountered such a masterfully crafted blade. Perhaps the sword could be reforged if you had both parts. So it's been the object of our questing for a long time to get that. I want us to fight goblins. East of Elkshorn. Elkshorn is right here. Oh man, it could be here for all I know. Did they name it? Did they say pointy something something? Well, that's kind of where I want to go anyway. I'm kind of wanting to go in a viscerally direction. I was thinking maybe we could do a huge Norskin battle, or huge barbarian battle tomorrow. And then by the end of the episode tomorrow, the idea would just be to put myself back by Strockberg. And, you know, in a good position to begin the watermill stuff. That whole business. Let's accept this contract. And yeah, it's right here. Pretty much exactly where we want to be anyway. And I think that's going to be it for today's episode. I was hoping to maybe find something out here. Maybe even some scrat in the woods. Because I do want to show you guys the Kraken gear. Nagzurhers are also a desirable fight for us. Yeah. And I'm actually going to leave this here. 2 goblin encampments right next to each other. And we're going to actually walk past all of that and go towards the Stone of the Ancients. I'm kind of hoping to see some a champion. A champion is really what I'm looking for. I'm not sure if champions stay though in between like saves. I think they do. So a few Reavers, not bad. Many Chosen, that's scary. 1 Drummer would be nice if he wasn't there. And a few Beastmasters to cover the few Armored Unholds. That's a really powerful camp. I have no problem going and trying to take that down. Someone in the comments has been suggesting a mod that adds a lot more champions, which I would enjoy. See, this has a plethora of Chosen. I think this is the place that ultimately I ended up leaving, because a plethora of Chosen just kill everything all the time. And right now I think I'm just going to follow these footprints and see what I can see. Beasts and Orcs just like walking next to each other. It's crazy. What is going on here? Now I just got to know. Goblins and Hexen are fighting each other. Interesting. No surprise to see the Goblins win here. But okay guys, I might take this fight in my free time depending on what it is. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for rejoining me on this series. I know it was about almost a week with no Battle Brothers content. But I hope you're glad to be back. Look forward to some more big boss battles and epic fights. And yeah, so guys, thank you so much. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Take care.